Happy Tuesday morning, October 27th, 2020. To God be the glory for yet another beautiful fall day. But you would think it's winter with the snow, but it's not sticking. It's melting as soon as it hits the ground, but it's beautiful outside. And we are thankful that we get to read the beauty of the Lord's Word. I tell you, it's always edifying and encouraging. And this is true breakfast before we even think about having a meal. And just looked at the word edifying, build up, strengthen. We might have our fruit, our yogurt, our juice, but the word edifies. And it says in verse 29 of chapter 4 of Ephesians about what comes out of our mouth and what comes in our mouth. Well, out of our mouth. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth. Now, in order for this to come out of your mouth, we have to put the word and the Spirit of God and the input. Like I said, breakfast, we input that, but we have to have our spiritual nourishment. And it says, but that which is good and edifying to the use of that it may minister grace, kindness unto the hearers. Yes, I was catching up on an assignment and I woke up 4 o'clock in the morning and I was watching a video, and it's 9 years old, but the professor had us watch Chirac. It's like 11 minutes long, and I was like, oh my goodness, I have to watch the thug life. You saw guns and the glorification of violence, and they were going through the bio of Chief Keef and so many others and the producers, and they kept on saying this is the only way they could break out of a cage, because they call it drill music back then and trap music, and there's just so much anger, resentment, and violence. Well, I came to the conclusion that you only mirror what you see, right? You reflect what is presented to you day in, day out. If you are modeled certain behaviors, then that's what you're going to repeat. So it's up to the people of God to put out the image of Christ so that it'll be attractive. And we put out the image of Christ by what comes out of our mouth. And the way to do that is to make sure that in verse 32, we are kind one to another. You better be kind to those gangbangers. Tender-hearted, patient, loving, forgiving one another, even as God, for Christ's sake, hath forgiven you. So we should not have any bitterness, any wrath, any anger. They might have it, but we don't return that. And clamor and evil speaking be put away with you with all malice. Because that's the only way that the world will be convinced. Like, what is she on? Why is she so happy? What is this about? The joy of the Lord. And another version says, get rid of your bitterness, your hot tempers, your anger, your loud quarreling, your cursing and hatred. That's all I saw on the video. No. Talking about just on and on, as far as if you trick, then you're getting 30 bullets in you and all that. Don't be partners with that. Put it away. But we want to be able to show the love of God at all times, even for those who are broken or sad, because we know the remedy is that the Lord heals the broken in heart. That's not only in a relationship as far as eros, but it could be friendships, it could be with neighbors, it could be with anything. Someone could break your heart with deceiving or going behind the back or what have you. But the Lord will bind up the wounds, close up the wounds. That's in Psalms 147. And the Lord takes pleasure in them that fear him and those that hope in his mercy. We hope in his mercy, and we want to be able to spread peace among the borders and across the borders, everywhere we go. So we lift up the Lord and the Lord will lift up the meek. So let's go in peace and know that the Lord will fight our battles. We don't have to fight with flesh and blood. No, the Lord will be the one who will avenge, and he will defend us. And we know that Psalms 27, we would have gone to that. The Lord is our light and our salvation. Whom shall we fear? No one. The Lord is the strength of our life. Whom shall we be afraid of? Nope. He'll take care of the enemies, and he will lift up our head above them, and we will be able to offer tabernacles, sacrifices of joy. And that's how the right words and the right spirit will come out of our mouth and our heart and out of our life. Have a wonderful day, being triumphant this Tuesday.